Ronnie Penninger, or Penninger, or Pennington, or whatever his name is.
Ronnie P.
Kenny Hart was his name. That was his name. Last name was Hart. And I had a bug collection. Now we had it in the bushes in front of Kenny's house. He had these big, tall, evergreen type bushes that would come up, and behind it was about this, probably that much bare space. It was nothing but dirt, mud. So we set a bug collection up. We had collector's pins, and we had the names of what the bugs were. And for a while, one summer, we had probably 40, 50 bugs pinned to the dirt back there. They were dead, but different kinds of bugs and bees and stuff. We used to have fights between black widow spiders and bees all the time. See who would win the fight. You just put them in a jar together, shake them up real good, and put them, and you'd see who came out the winner. Usually the spider won. But every once in a while, the bee would kill the spider. So we were really into lots of stuff like that. There used to be one of the first 7-Eleven type stores opened up on what was called Airways Boulevard. It was maybe 4 blocks from our house. We'd always walk up to the store. We'd turn bottles in because you get 2 cents for a bottle. Well, for a dime, you could buy a lot of candy. So if you took a six-pack back, you were golden. So we'd walk up there and turn bottles in, get candy, and on the way back, we'd always stop at a little creek. About a block from the store was a little creek, and down in there were catfish. And I remember one day trying to catch a small catfish. It was about this big. And I scooped my hands under it, and it finned me. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever been finned by a catfish, but it hurts like a dickens. It's like a paper cut. Not a real small one like that, but it cut my finger. So that was the last time I went hunting for catfish with my hands. And to this day, I'm very leery of catfish because they have very sharp spines on their back, their dorsal and stuff, and then their actual back fin will cut you if they try to hit you with it. An interesting story that happened at the time was my brother Bobby, who was 4 years younger than me, started first grade. Now my sister and I always walked to school, which was about 3 to 4 blocks away. No big deal. We'd walk back and forth to school. Well, one day my father, before school started, decided to walk Bobby to school, which he did, and then he left him there, and he said, "Now, come home." And he waited to see if he would come home. Well, after about an hour, Bobby hadn't showed up. I mean, it's only 4 blocks. How could you get lost in 4 blocks? That's what my dad was thinking. My brother did it, we thought. We looked all over the neighborhood. We were combing the neighborhood in a car, walking, getting our friends to look. About 2 hours later, Bobby shows up. Bobby had went up to a little grocery store called the Big Store. It was the other direction of the school, about 5 blocks, because he wanted some candy. He had a nickel or something, so he went up there and got candy and then walked home from there. So he could find his way home, but he was kind of a free spirit, so my dad was livid. He thought he'd never see him again, but he found his way home. My wife always wonders why I hate Chihuahuas, but it comes from this time period. I must have been in the 3rd or 4th grade. I had a broken arm. Remember, it was my left arm that was broken. And I was walking home from school one day, and Amy Harvey's Chihuahua attacked me. And a Chihuahua will bite at your heels. And I remember kicking at the dog, and I kicked and finally fell down. And the dog still wanted me again. And I got up, and I picked a big rock up, and I threw it, and I missed the dog, and I chased the dog all the way home. I scared it once I threw the rock at it, but I was so mad. I hate Chihuahuas to this day because of Amy Harvey's Chihuahua. Now, I also had a friend named Brian. Now, I don't remember Brian's last name now, but Brian lived about halfway home from school. And I'd go visit him every once in a while. We'd go over and play and stuff. And the one thing I remember about Brian is I used to spend the night with him sometimes, or he'd come over and spend the night with me. His mother made me a sandwich one day that I remember to this day. In fact, it's something you need to try with Tyler. I was used to peanut butter and jelly or jam, stuff like that. Sandwiches are just peanut butter. She made me a peanut butter and banana sandwich. And I thought, this is weird. This is not going to taste good. But it's absolutely delicious. And I'd never thought of trying peanut butter and banana. Just sliced up banana on it. Tyler would probably like that.
Oh, he'd love it. I'm
it's
sure.
better if you add honey, too.
We do peanut butter and honey.
But and I've done peanut butter and honey and stuff like that, too. So that was an interesting thing from that time period.
Now you said you broke your arm. How did you do that?
Okay, I was up at my grandfather's in a willow tree. No, it wasn't a willow tree, it's a formosa tree, which has these little pink buds and stuff, flowers and stuff. It's actually quite nice. I wasn't high off the ground, We used to get up the tree and we used to jump and catch a limb. We'd swing and then drop to the ground. Well, I grabbed, slipped, put my arm down to catch me and broke my arm. Now, the interesting thing about breaking my arm when I did that is it totally displaced the whole piece up. I mean, so it was kind of like going along in a big thing like this.
Ugh.
So I had my arm in a cast for 6 weeks, I guess, something like that. Now, later I'll tell you how I broke my other arm, because I was in high school, or junior high when I broke my other arm. It was even worse. But anyway, so that's how I broke my arm. Now, Ronnie, one of the things I remember very vividly from that time is Ronnie Penninger and I were riding bikes. And Ronnie Penninger had a 26-inch bike, and I had maybe he had 28, and I had a 26. He had a big one. It was hard to ride because it was too tall for him. But Ronnie also had a drag chute, which is one of the little chutes that he's like the F4s have that pulls the big parachute out of the back. It was probably about this big around. He would roll it up. We'd get riding as fast as we could, either on his bike or my bike, whichever who had the chute. You tuck it under the seat, and you got as fast as you go, and then you threw the chute out. And you just go boom, pull you to almost to a dead stop, almost instantly. Just do that. But we were riding to school one day, and as we're passing my house, about the next house later was a stop sign. Well, we were blitzing through that, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a school bus, and I screamed at Ronnie, who was right ahead of me. Ronnie turned just as the school bus came by and almost clipped him, but just barely missed him. But it ran him into a mailbox. He hit the mailbox pretty hard. Got a concussion out of it, so but at least he didn't get hit by the school bus. The school bus would have smacked him. I don't know what the school bus knew they were going so fast, but I don't think the school bus ever saw him. So I'll probably save Ronnie's life inadvertently. I mean, just by screaming, he turned. He saw the bus just as I screamed, and he just jerked the bike over and hit the mailbox. I actually did in the mailbox, which I thought was pretty good. That's the time also I started playing baseball. It was in that time period, and we used to play with a bunch of guys, all probably from the age of 12, 13 down to about 6. I was one of the youngest. We played a little basketball, but mainly we played baseball. And we had a little field out there. We homemade field behind the houses. We'd go out and play baseball all the time, and then we'd play basketball behind somebody's house. But I didn't like the basketball because it was too short. But I do remember playing baseball because I used to always step to the side and catch the ball to the side. I would never catch the ball straight on because I knew if I missed the ball it would hurt. And I wasn't a fabulous baseball player. Well, one day they convinced me, you got to catch the ball straight on. You got to catch it straight on. So I caught it straight on. Ended up with a big knot in the middle of my head because it hit the glove and went pow right off my head. So from then on, I caught it to the side. To this day, I catch the ball to the side. I don't catch it straight on, just because of that.